going to talk about shrimp farming systems in Ecuador. It was my privilege to visit Ecuador in October. The purpose was, as I was invited to attend Aqua Expo 2022, a conference and trade show organized by the National Chamber of Aquaculture of Ecuador, which was held on October 17 to 20 at Guayaquil Convention Center in Ecuador. There were nearly 1,500 technical session attendees and 6,000 trade show participants daily. There were more than 61 speakers and over 200 booths. My presentation and appreciation, I talked about the Indonesian shrimp farming industry. My talk was based on sustainable shrimp farming techniques and how Indonesia adapted its cultural practices to the continuously coming challenges. The purpose was to determine how our initiatives could help Ecuador to be safe and sustainable. You can find my presentation in the previous YouTube PPT. Shrimp business in Ecuador at a glance. On the right side, you can see the map, and which is showing the major shrimp farming areas all over. It's all over. So total tonnage of Vanami feed for 2021 was over 1.6 million metric tons. Vanami production was estimated almost 1 million metric ton. Total export was about 848,000 metric ton in 2021. The top 5 Vanami farming companies with the major production in Ecuador were Santa Priscilla, Omersa, Songa, Promarisco, and Expulsa. Top 5 Vanami seed hatcheries were considered as Texcumar, Aquatropical, Biogemar, and Macrobio. Feed companies Spreading, Vitapro, Biomar, Cargill, and ADM. Health products are mainly sold and marketed by the feed companies. So growth in Ecuador shrimp production, if you take before 2010 and now, how is the difference? From the graphics, you can see how steeply it is going up and up. So first we talk about the crop. Before it was 1 to 2 crops per year. Now it is 4.5 to 6.5 crops per year. 4.5 is the standard. Number of steps of culture system, 1 step. Now it's up to 3 steps. Feeding 1 to 2 times per day and no feeding on weekends. Now automatic feeder with sensors. Pond area 10 to 50 hectares, still the same, 60 to 46 hectares. Broodstock source, wild, now it's farm-raised. Harvesting manual, and now it's mostly mechanical. Export items are head-on, shell-on. Now, recently, apart from major head-on, shell-on, value-added products are also started. Type of farming, conventional. Now it's conventional, organic, and inorganic. Inorganic is semi-intensive, which is about 40 pieces per meter square. Major export market, China. Now, apart from China, is USA, European Union, and South Korea. Average cost of production, $1. Now it's 1.5 to 2 USD per kilogram. Average production per hectare per year, 8 to 10 ton, and now it's up to 78 ton per hectare per year. My experience was quite amazing. It was my first visit to the Latin America. So the farm I visited was Omersa. You can see one of the farms. This is the Omersa farm. It's the second largest farm of Ecuador. Total farm area is about 3,000 hectares. farms situated at 3 locations. Each location will have almost 1,000 hectare pond area. I visited Laguna Centrafel farm. Farming distributed into conventional, organic, and inorganic farming. They obtain up to 6.5 by the average of having 4.5 crops a year. What parameters? So if we make almost at a glance, so crop is about 4.5 crops per year. Number of farming steps, 3 steps. Post larvae 14 to nursery, nursery 0.5 to 3 gram, and then grow out goes up to 25 to 30 gram by having 70 to 75 days culture. Feeding, automatic feeder with sensors. So sensor means that there will be sound in the sensor, sound recording, or sensor will record the sound which is created by the maxillary plates of the shrimp. So when shrimp hungry, they create the sound, and on that basis, the sensor will give signal to the feeder to switch on, and the feed will be broadcasted. This is a kind of training in the beginning. For 10-15 days, shrimps will be given the training how to create the sound, and then sensor will take this signal and respond in terms of feed broadcasting. Pond area is big, 7 to 10 hectare, and average depth of 1.5 meter. Broodstock source, they have their own farm-based raised 4 to 5 pieces per meter square in 0.25 hectare ponds. So the ponds which are selected for broodstock raising are earthen ponds and smaller in size, 0.25 hectare. Harvesting, mechanical, they have their own team. Export items is head-on, shell-on, and value-added products. Type of farming, conventional, organic, inorganic. Inorganic is semi-intensive. Major export market now is USA, then China, and European Union. Average cost of production goes about 1.5 to 2 USD per kilogram. Average production per hectare per year goes up to 78 ton per hectare per year. FCR ranges from 1.1 to 1.2. This has tremendously reduced after using the automatic feeder with sensor. Previously, it used to be 1.4 to 1.5. So automatic feeder has a major contribution. Infrastructure, so you can see, this is the pump house. This is the lagoon which goes parallel to the farm, and then water intake is at the different locations. This is the canal intake, and this is the pond system where you can see sensors, and this is with the all automation is used. So water intake from lagoons using pump, water is supplied in the pond using gravity. Salinity range between 18 to 25 ppt, depends on the season. Water exchange is 20 to 30% per day. On average, water equipped, farms equipped with automatic feeder with sensor. Diesel is mostly used to run the aerators due to high subsidy. So as government is reducing the subsidy on diesel, the uses of electricity may increase, and we expect that there will be increase in the cost of production. One technician takes care about 50 hectare area. Now, first farm type is organic farm, which is completely conventional. Earthen ponds, size 7 to 10 hectare each. Depth is about 1.3 meter. The stocking density goes 18 to 20 pieces per meter square. 3-step farming, and total 4.5 crops. Post larvae, nursery 0.5 to 3 gram. Grow out to harvest. Sluice gate used for harvest. Daily monitoring of feed intake and shrimp health using boat. So you can see these are the pedal will editors. This is the dry ponds, and then this is the harvested shrimp. You can look at the freshness, color for conventional pond. Earthen pond size 7 to 10 hectare each, depth 1.3 meter, stocking density 7 to 10 pieces per meter square, 3-step farming, total 4.5 crops. Sluice gate used for harvest, daily monitoring of feed intake and shrimp health, monitoring by both, same as organic. Then inorganic or semi-intensive farms. The pond size are about 10 hectare, earthen ponds, depth 1.5 meter average, stocking density 40 pieces per meter squared, 3-step farming, total 4.5 to 6.5 crops. Start from PL14. Sluice gates are used for harvest, daily monitoring of feed intake and shrimp health, monitoring by a boat. This is the glance, how it looks like, and the freshness of shrimp you can see. Harvesting. Harvesting is done mostly at day of culture 70 to 75. It takes about 6 hours to harvest a 10 hectare ponds. Harvesting is done by draining water at the sluice gate. Here the water is drained along with the shrimp, and from here shrimp is pumped up. You can see pumped up here, and then from here it is going through this pipe to the iced water tank, and from here it is loaded to the truck and transported to the processing plant. The ice is packed in, the shrimp is packed in 1:1 ratio, means 1 kg of shrimp to 1 kg of ice. The the temperature maintained at 2 degrees Celsius. This is to avoid the growth of bacteria and also to delay the process of rigor mortis. Broodstock development, what we discussed before, that visually the best shrimps are selected 1 day before harvesting from the culture pond and stocked in broodstock ponds. Stocking density maintained at very low, 4 to 6 pieces per meter square. Cultured for 60 to 70 days extra, or growth reaches up to 40 to 45 grams. Broodstock candidates are sent to laboratory for checking, for thorough checkup and selection for the final breeding programs. Then the second farm I got chance to visit was Sanol Meadow, which is a part of Lanek Group. Here also crop was 3.5 to 4.5 per year, 3-step farming, feeding using automatic feeder with sensor, pond area varying from 10 to 18 hectare, broodstock source and post larvae. Here, they use PL from outside, mostly from Hendrick Genetics, feed, own feed mill sold to Biomar, and then getting feed from Biomar itself. Harvesting and export items, head-on, shell-on, and value-added type of farming, conventional, organic, inorganic. Major export market for them also, for their shrimp, is USA, China, and EU. Average cost of production goes 1.5 to 1.8. Average production per year, 40 to 50 ton per hectare per year. FCR 1.1 to 1.2. Water exchange rate daily is 20%. They also use recirculation system in some area. They have started using it. Intensive farming, pond area about 3,000 hectare, pond size 10 to 17 hectare. Does not have broodstock development program. Procure PL from third-party hatchery. Feed mill feed is taken from Biomar. Lanek farm selected by Wolf Foods, so they export their products to South Korea. They don't have their own processing plant, so they work with Promarisco, Nueva, Pescanova, and Expulsor. Water intake is from the lagoons and estuary. Salinity is low here, up to 5 ppt. Water exchange is about 20% per day, no disinfection and no reservoir. For pond culture, you can see there are aerators, there is a feeder with sensor. Biosecurity level is lower. You can see the number of birds all over the ponds. Even the ponds are not so dried, and you can see still there is water, and the bottom is wet. This is the gate, feed, and the shrimp. So again, the automatic feeder with sensor. This is one interesting thing. This is quality control and shrimp health monitoring. Every day, QC manager, he will go to the pond and he will have this tripod dress. By that, he will tripod net is dressed in a 5-meter area where the dead shrimp, carcass, remaining feed, everything will be traced, collected, and then you can see here the remains. And on that basis, the manager will check and see, evaluate the pond bottom condition, whether shrimp is eating the feed or feed remains. Is there any mortality, severe mortality, or less mortality, or no mortality? Everything is checked on daily basis. One more thing which is different here from Omarsa, that nursery is built beside each pond. Juveniles are directly stocked in the cultured ponds. Then I got chance to visit a processing plant, Omarsa. Omarsa have total 3 plants, 1 plant each beside the Omarsa farm. Each plant capacity of about 800 tons per day, process own shrimp and also from the free market. This is the receiving area. You can see the containers and the boxes. These are headless shrimps for US. So they produce head-on, headless, IQF, and value-added products. Export to USA, China, Spain, and France. Spain and France mostly is head-on with the bigger size. Run 2 shifts. Labor cost is higher there, almost US dollar 450 per month. Then Broodstock and hatcheries. Hatcheries located in non-farming areas, commonly called as laboratory. Post larvae grow up to PL14. I also got chance to visit the National Marine Research Center called Expo. So this research center is well facilitated. It mainly works on the development of breeding program, culture, and value addition of marine fish, oyster, seaweed, and other marine fish. I would say everything, all the most of the culture species are studied there except the shrimp. It has well-equipped molecular biology lab in running condition, microbiology lab, histopathology lab. And lab is used for both service and research. So this is the way they can also earn revenue to continue the operations. There are researchers, almost 60 in number. So what lesson we should learn from Ecuador? You can see the graphics with 1979 to 2005-6, how Ecuador is going ups and down in terms of production. And now it's keep on stable. So Ecuador has developed its shrimp culture system after several ups and downs. The farm-raised SPR broodstocks, automatic feeder, and water availability in plenty. Farming adaptation, 3 steps, and keeping a stocking density lower, maximum 40 pieces per meter square, have proven them successful. Communication and sharing information is also, a huge contribution. Now, I would like to give a comparative view on how Ecuadorian culture system is different from Indonesia and India. So have a look. So crop, first is India, Ecuador, Indonesia. crop in India, I'm only talking about vaname. So crop, 2 crops per year. Ecuador, 4.5 to 6.5 crops per year. Indonesia, 2 to 2.6 crops per year. Species in India, vaname, monodon, and also some indicas. Ecuador, only vaname. Indonesia, almost 80 to 90% vaname, and some parts to monodon. Broodstock source, SPF imported. Ecuador pond raised. Indonesia, SPF imported. Number of steps, 1 step. Ecuador, 3 step. And Indonesia, 1 step with partial harvesting is the most common thing. Feeding, manual, 3 to 4 times per day. Ecuador, automatic feeder with sensor, extruded feed. Indonesia, mostly manual, 3 to 4 times per day. And now automatic feeder could also be seen in some farms. Pond area, 0.5 to 2 hectare. In India, Ecuador, 6 to 46 hectare. And Indonesia, 0.1 and maximum 1 hectare in some area. But the most common is 0.1 to 0.3. Harvesting manual, Ecuador mechanical, and Indonesia mechanical. Export items, in India is headless shell-on, and some companies have started doing value-added. Ecuador, head-on shell-on, value-added, and some HLSO on demand. Indonesia, mostly HLSO, headless shell-on, and value-added. Type of farming, India, conventional. Ecuador, conventional, organic, inorganic, all types. Indonesia, same, extensive, semi-intensive, and intensive system. Major export market for India is China, USA. Ecuador market is USA, China, European Union, South Korea. Indonesia, USA, Japan, China. Major diseases reported in India is white spot syndrome virus, running mortality syndrome, EHP, and white gut syndrome. Ecuador is carrying white spot syndrome virus and seagull syndrome. Indonesia, white spot syndrome virus, infectious myonecrosis virus, then EHP and white physis syndrome. Average production, which varies, in India is almost 16 to 24 ton per hectare per year. Ecuador goes up to 78 ton per hectare per year. And Indonesia is 46 to 60 ton per hectare per year. I also got chance to meet my friends, some friends after 25 years, with me. And I also got chance to have some new friends. That was really nostalgic. And I would like to give a special thanks to National Chamber of Aquaculture Ecuador, Ms. Yahira, then our Central Protein Prima management, area management, and then to my colleagues, Kun Pongpad, Kunki, Kun Sarayo, and Christina. Gracias.